the Stalwart Squire came to the game today, which is one of those interesting weapons that is kind of really hard to use, and I almost never actually bring it out of the book. So right off the bat, this is a hard-hitting, single-shot weapon with, I think, a 3-second reload or more, because with a reload perk, it goes down to 1.5 seconds, and that's the important part. 1.5 seconds between shots. So what I have running on this is a crit build, and that is something that is very controversial for a weapon that fires this slowly, and I almost never recommend it, but let me explain. This thing is hitting for over 130,000 damage per shot in our group, which is extremely good for crowds of enemies, and entirely useless against bigger enemies like a Smasher. It hits extremely hard when it crits, and then does nothing when it doesn't. So, this weapon is basically like a roll of the dice, slash a really, really good crowd cleaning weapon for normal zombies. Now, back to the weapon itself here, I can tell you right now that this weapon is definitely a niche thing. If you're going to be using this properly, you're going to want Totally Rockin' Out or Buckshot Raptor in the lead. So I almost never actually talk about the loadouts for these weapons because it doesn't always matter that much. You can see I went for a typical shotgun build. Link to the description below of the shotgun build that I've got here and why I use this. But I would honestly suggest using Buckshot Raptor in the lead, up that crit damage by a ton. Now, all of your eggs would be in one basket. You're basically going to be useless unless you crit. But recently, a lot of the heroes for the Totally Rockin' Out team perk have come back to the game. And if you open the Rad Llamas, you should be able to get, 4 of the main ones that activate this team perk. And soon enough, I think Dennis Jr. should be following, who will allow you to unlock that team perk if you don't already have it. Now, this won't be the case for everybody watching this in the future. You can comment below if you're a future dweller. I'm sorry if this event is not currently active for you. However, for the people watching it on day one, you'll be happy to know that Totally Rockin' Out should be just around the corner, and it'll make this weapon a huge amount better. Now, while I didn't use it for the footage today, you can definitely believe me that if you up that crit rating by a ton, you'll at least be hitting a lot harder. So, let's talk about the best perks for this. If you don't want to use Totally Rockin' Out and you want to use the normal shotgun build that I think crit rating, double crit damage, reload is about as good as you're going to get. That crit damage hits very, very hard. However, it's extremely tough to get shots off with this thing. So, a second reload is not even out of the question. Because it's hitting so hard already, second reload would definitely smoothen out the experience for this weapon, make it a lot more convenient to use. However, if you want to go all in, you can go crit rating, triple crit damage. That's where you get millions of damage. If you run Buckshot in the lead, triple crit damage, Warcry, Coconuts, everything, you're going to be hitting like a freaking truck, well into the millions. Seriously, people used to hit, I think, 3.9 million, something like that. Like, it's a lot of damage. You'd obviously want physical on this, just max out everything and just have a crazy time. That's not really like a consistent build that I would ever recommend, though. So if you want to go Totally Rockin' Out, like I mentioned, I think triple crit damage and then a reload perk up here would probably be the way to go. Or just double reload, double crit damage, if that's even possible. I don't think it is. Oh man, it's unfortunate that this weapon has to be perked this way. You can do crit damage up here, reload down here, crit damage down here. So you'd have a fast reload and a bunch of crit damage for Totally Rockin' Out. There are a lot of ways to go here. There are many, many options on this thing. You could even go a second crit rating, but that second crit rating is almost always negligible and never something I recommend. So when it comes to the Stalwart Squire, you're basically rolling the dice. And that's why this video is kind of short, because this thing is a powerhouse 43% of the time, and then for the rest of it, it's really, really tough. Now, it is shooting in kind of a cone where it wipes out sweeps of enemies in one shot, and that is very, very nice. So you always want to make sure you're lining up at least 2 enemies at once, so don't be wasting your bullets on a single enemy unless he's the last guy left. That way you can maximize your potential with this weapon. That said, if you were ever going to use this, I would honestly recommend using a normal, faster firing shotgun as your primary, then maybe switching to this for your Mist Monster Killer, because I've never found this to be that usable as a primary, but some of you may love this weapon, as I know some of you are crit fiends, and plenty of you are Totally Rockin' Out fans. And that's pretty much it for that. So that's the Stalwart Squire, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If I missed anything, let me know. If there are any changes in the future, I'll pin a comment below letting you guys know. If you guys want to support the channel, feel free to use code Mista to check out. Become a channel member. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day. And then